Hello and welcome to my review of Casino Royale, the good one that came out in 2006. Finally said it correctly. But yeah, the one that stars Daniel Craig that released in the year 2006, and it was the first in this current set of rebooted films, which means we are, of course, getting closer and closer to the very end of our James Bond perspective. At the moment, review-wise on YouTube, we're at Casino Royale, obviously, because that's what I'm doing now. But in terms of actual watching the films, we're actually approaching Skyfall, which means I have today Skyfall, then Sunday Spectre, and then I am done watching them, and I'm just having left to do the review. So then after Monday, I'm gonna just be finishing off these reviews, YouTube reviews, and then I will be probably waiting maybe a week or so to start on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I might do a review of Zack Snyder's Justice League in the meantime because I've just finished watching that film. It is really fun. But yeah, to the topic of Casino Royale. Casino Royale is the, why did I write 20th? It's the 21st film in the James Bond franchise, and the third to be called Casino Royale. But the only one to be called Casino Royale officially. This film is fucking amazing. No joke. I used to just literally recently I watched Casino and Quantum, and just to give you a idea of what made me move it. Casino Royale used to be, I think it was 13th, something like that, and it moved 13th, just below Octopussy, and now it's currently sat at 6. So it's moved itself to fuck up the thing, and it's weird because below it is Spy Who Loved Me on my Secret Service and that. But yeah, another more bigger one that I want to point out is that is Quantum of Solace, which used to be my list of a Bond film and used to be at 25 on my list, but now it's currently sat at 22. So the honour of the worst Bond film, in my opinion, at the moment goes to Thunderball. But yeah, I even think Casino 67 is better than Thunderball and Moonraker. That's just my opinion, though. I can have more fun with Casino 67 than I can with Moonraker and Thunderball, personally. But yeah, just get ready for some interesting things when I talk about Quantum of Solace, because my opinion of that film has changed quite a bit, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but we'll fucking find out when we do. But yeah, this film is just amazing. I mean, all the actors are brilliant. I quite like Mathis as well, one of my favourite allies of Bond, because you're led to believe that he's not, but he actually is in Quantum of Solace. But I think Mathis in this film and in Quantum are just lots of fun. I think he's a brilliant ally. Shame he killed him off. Obviously, we have Vesper, who is such a sad story. Great acted perfectly by Eva Green as well. And Mr. White is introduced in this film, who would get his arc concluded in 2015's Spectre after not appearing in 2012 Skyfall, because that film had nothing to do with Quantum or Spectre. It was just Silver being epic. So yeah, Skyfall is the question when we get to Skyfall is if I would prefer Skyfall or Casino Royale, and at the moment it's currently sat at Casino Royale, but I think Skyfall's going to edge it because of the important personal connections I have to Skyfall, because not only was Skyfall the first Bond film I saw in cinemas ever, it was also the Bond film I actually studied. So I managed to properly study it in high school. So it's obviously got a very special spot to me. Hence why it's 3 or 4 at the minimum. I can't remember. Let me just check. Yeah, hence why Skyfall is 3 on my list and Goldfinger's 4. Goldfinger would be above it, but the connections I have with the Skyfall are too good to ignore. But yeah, enough talking about every other film that's not Casino Royale, because this film is so good. It's one of the films where out of the 3 Casino Royales, it definitely has the best gambling scenes, the best card game scenes. The actual casino card game scenes in this film are actually quite tense and enjoyable, and they're not boring like in Casino 67, where they were clearly Orson Welles and Peter Sellers are not in the same room and they try to make it look like he is. And in Casino 54, it's just not. You can't understand what is going on, but here it's actually quite tense and fun, and Le Chiffre is played brilliantly by Mads Mikkelsen, one of the best Bond villains in a long time. I have to admit, Bond villains are something I know. If you go back and watch my reviews, I've said pretty much good things about almost all of them, but I have to admit, Le Chiffre in this film is on another fucking level. Mads Mikkelsen is such a good actor, and he's perfect for Le Chiffre. He's the best Le Chiffre I've had on screen. This film is just, I'm so glad they brought back Martin Campbell from GoldenEye, which is just brilliant to see. I think Casino Royale, it really is a masterpiece. It's not in the masterpiece trilogy, quadrilogy, because I just don't think it's on that level, but I just feel like it makes more sense to just not have it in that. But if there's any other film would have the potential of being pushed into that category, it would be Casino Royale. It is just it's brilliant. The action is fun. Lots of fun sequences. I point out the action sequences is really, really, really good. Um, Another great score by David Arnold. This is definitely his second best score. I still think his score for Tomorrow Never Dies is better because it's much more Barry-esque, and I like Barry-esque scores. But this is definitely a second favourite. And then after watching Quantum of Solace again, I really think my third favourite Arnold score is actually Quantum of Solace, then Words Not Enough, then Down of the Day, which is kind of something. But yeah, that's why I put my Arnold score ranking: Tomorrow Never Dies, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and then yeah, my opinions on Quantum of Solace are going to come out really weird in tomorrow's one, so don't be surprised if that one is quite long, because I have a lot of explaining to do as to why I gave that film 3.5 stars and not half a star, which I was going to do before I actually sat down and watched it. But I actually had some fun with it. But that's an argument for tomorrow. Casino Royale is a masterpiece. It's just absolutely fantastic. It was the right film at the right time. But a fact about Casino Royale that a lot of you may not know is that Quentin Tarantino, yes, that Quentin Tarantino of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Pulp Fiction fame, approached Eon, Barbara Broccoli, Michael G. Wilson, and said he'd be willing to do a Casino Royale set in the 60s starring Pierce Brosnan, and he would only do it if Pierce Brosnan was brought back. And obviously, I mean, it wasn't because of Pierce. I said no, they just didn't. They weren't looking for Tarantino style film, which I think if you ask me, a Tarantino version of this film with Daniel Craig still in it would have been just the fucking best James Bond film ever fucking made. Like period T. That would be fucking amazing. But yeah, no, this film is still absolutely brilliant, and I think it's one of those films that you really need to just respect because it is that good, and we wouldn't be sat here today. It's another one of those points in time, not so much as between between Diamonds and between License to Kill and Goldeneye. Between License to Kill and Goldeneye was the really specific. If that one, if Goldeneye had failed, we would really not be here. But this is another point where it stitched the right parts together. It wasn't a massive blood wound that the series was suffering like it was after License to Kill. It was more of a small cut that needed to just be stitched a bit in Casino Royale. And obviously above the stitch you have Die of the Day, and then below the stitch you have Quantum of Solace and everything forward. And obviously Casino Royale just stitched the two things together, and that's perfect. That's a perfect analogy to describe what this film does. But that doesn't mean just because it's stitching it together, it's a standard Bond film. It was an important stitch that needed to be done up to make sure the series could flourish. And it's a brilliant film, and I recommend it to all because it's just such a it's a long one though. It is one of the only two Bond films to hit the 2.5 hour mark. The other one at the top of my head was Majesty's Secret Service. I do believe this is significantly better than Majesty's. And I just feel like the car sequence in this film is brilliant. The music, again, I've said this time and time again, I'll say it again, is brilliant. The action's great, villain's brilliant. It's just so. My standout sequence for me is the Miami International Airport scene. It's just so fun, and action filled, and the music is brilliant. It is just such a good film, and I recommend it to absolutely every person, no matter no matter if you even give a shit about James Bond film. This is one of the ones where you just have to see it. If you don't see it, you're kind of just silling yourself into it. If you're a movie fan and you haven't seen this film, get the fuck out and don't fucking talk to me. I'm joking, not that far, but it's just like most of my peers who aren't particularly into Bond as much as I am have seen this film and Skyfall. So it's just good that there are those certain sort of, and I also recommend this if you want a jumping point onto the series and you don't want to start from 62 and you want a nice jumping point. I'd say start from here and go from here on onwards would be watch the Daniel Craig films are almost a separate series because the first 20 films were one character, and then here it's a different one, which leads to a lot of fan theories saying that potentially he could be killed off in No Time to Die, and then we'd revert back to either the previous timeline or a new one where he becomes the same agent from there on afterwards. But yeah, that's the game theory. But yeah, I just think Casino Royale is just absolutely brilliant. It represents a point in the series where it's just been, the song is so good. You Know My Name by Chris Cornell. What a fucking banger. But yeah, the title sequence for this film is the best titles in all the series, I have to admit. It's fucking, how they look is just fucking amazing. I have to admit, there is no other title sequence like it. And it's, and also that pre-title sequence, intense, and then also thrilling and edge of the seat moments. It's just so fucking good, man. It's so fucking good. But yeah, again, scored by David Arnold. The only stand-up track I can really think of off the top of my head would be the lovely the name's Bond, James Bond, the end credits song, because as much as don't know, just because I haven't got any standout tracks is because I don't actually have any way to properly listen to Casino Royale soundtrack. Like, I don't own it, and I don't listen to it as much as the others. So that's not affected my enjoyment of it, because I really think it's one of the best scores in the series. It's just I don't listen to it, and I don't know much of the track stuff, so I can't really say any standout tracks other than maybe just throwing out there Miami International. I know that's a 12-minute suite. That's a good paceful track. But yeah, also the name's Bond, James Bond from the end credits, and then that final scene where he shoots Mr. White in the foot, and Mr. White crawls up the stairs, and he's holding the gun, and he goes, "The name's Bond, James Bond," and then the credits come out, and it's like, no, 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 no. It's just perfect. It's just fucking perfect. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. The second episode of the podcast is being recorded tomorrow with the guys. We've got the topics going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League, Godzilla vs. Kong, the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then the Avengers video game that has the new update thing, and other things we're going to talk about. I'm hopefully going to try and get your boy Junkie XL into the conversation, because he's obviously composing the music for two of the things we're talking about tonight. Zack Snyder's Justice League and then Godzilla vs. Kong. But yeah, that's going to be fun. Podcast is also, the first episode is currently available on YouTube, SoundCloud. That's fun. Wolf and Wolfie will be in the description once more. But yeah, have a good day, guys, and don't forget to check out those things. Bye bye, and have a wonderful day. And don't forget to watch Casino Royale, because it's fucking awesome. Bye.